been slacking off on race reviews because, well, college has pretty much picked up its activity onto my schedule, which is why, to warn you guys, the activity for race reviews is gonna steeply go down low. So it's only gonna be very few and far between I get around to making these kinds of videos, which I kind of do feel bad because I always like giving my honest opinions and calling out the bullshit and bringing out the facts and basically conveying what my take on so many situations has been. So, without any further ado, let me just dive into the first round of the NASCAR playoffs. Race number 1, let's just make a little brief recap, shall we? Erik Jones. Wow. The driver that Hoover and I met in person last year mustered up a victory at Darlington, no less? Wow. I take it that this dude really likes Darlington. Who would have thought that he would eventually bring the 43 back into victory lane at Darlington and not a rain-out race? That is just so enthralling that of all the times that Erik Jones could have went to victory lane, it had to be at a track that is as difficult as Darlington, where there's a lot of narrow pathways, where you cannot get out of the race without having at least a lady in black mark on your stock car. It's very striking that we see the legendary 43 go back to victory lane, and I was really expecting that to Denny Hamlin to dive bomb that the last corners and smash that. Erik Jones straight into the fence, but he decided to not go full Martinsville 2017 and actually drove very gently, and I will give Denny Hamlin big props on that for at least driving very carefully on that ordeal. He has slightly earned my respect on that one. And who can forget the hilarious bad streak of finishes Kyle Busch had, and the fact that he got eliminated from the playoffs because his engine just kept going reactor 4 on him. Fucking Wish I could laugh, but I'm not in the mood to really yell right now. So, fucking on Kyle Busch getting a 30th place finish at Darlington, then a 26th place at Kansas, and then another engine failure at Bristol. Sucks to see that Chase Elliott finished dead last at Darlington, which is the second consecutive year for running a children's foundation scheme, and then yet gets DNF'd again. Crashed out last year with that said scheme that was in black, and then crashed again. I guess the moral code is don't do anything wholesome for children that are battling cancer, and then you'll survive the race. Then again, he did something very wholesome for Jimmy Johnson by tributing his 2009 season, and yet he still got screwed out of a stinking win. Darlington has been everything short of an Achilles heel for Chase Elliott. But yeah, overall, Darlington was a pretty fun race to watch. Lots of comers and goers. So many different drivers were dominating the race, whether it be Joey Logano, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Truex, and so on. Though 2 of those drivers ended up getting a DNF, that being Kyle Busch and Truex. Sad for Truex, for Kyle Busch. Alright, now we get on to... But, I want to say this. That was the first ever time anybody in the 43 car has been to victory lane and crossed the start-finish line with the green flag waving since 1999 Martinsville. My brother wasn't even born yet. I was only 2 years old. Jimmy Johnson hasn't even started his racing career yet in the Cup Series. His Watkins Glen crash didn't even happen yet. That's how absurdly long ago it was since the 43 last won a race under the green flag. And wouldn't you know, that would be the 200th victory for the 43 car. Just like the legacy driver that made that number famous. And now let's get to Hollywood Casino 400. Ha fucking ha. Eat shit, Nick Adams. You fucking suck. It's as simple as understanding that Bubba Wallace is a winner, your precious Trump is a loser, and he's no longer relevant. Bubba Wallace has lasted longer in the NASCAR Cup Series than the Confederacy in America did. So you can suck even harder on that one, asshats. Bubba's a winner, the Confederacy apologists are a bunch of fucking losers. You know, my buddy James and I were actively rooting for Bowman to pull that victory off because, fun fact, if Alex Bowman wins one more time, this will be the first time the whole Hendrick Motorsports gang gets at least more than one victory in a single season. So Alex Bowman would be the driver to count on to win one more time, so the whole Hendrick gang will be multi-winners in 2022. Sadly, he couldn't hold off Bubba Wallace, but he did have a pretty fast car, 107 laps. I say that was pretty good, even though that race was pretty stressful to watch, considering he almost scraped the wall on a few occasions, and that it was basically a detonation from Goodyear all the freaking time. First victim was Kevin Harvick scraping the wall because of Chastain being Chastain. Tyler Reddick blows a tire while leading the race. Gee, talk about the leader's demise, eh? Then Ty Gibbs, wrecks out by scraping the wall. Some drunk Truex fan in front of my buddy James was laughing, thinking that it was Bubba Wallace wrecking. But, oh boy, you should have seen the distraught look on his face when Bubba Wallace crossed the line. And then, of course, there was the multi-car pileup between Harrison Burton and Corey LaJoie and Eric Jones. 4 guys were having a good run, but nevertheless, Bubba Wallace has more wins in the Cup Series than Matt DiBenedetto would have ever dreamed of, so instead of just trashing your team, Matty, maybe you should have just, put more effort on your racing talent instead of shoving your religious bullshit down the entire planet's throat. I'm just giving you suggestions, so if you want to become a better racer, but what do you know, you're just gonna hand wave whatever kind of criticisms against you away. Bubba Wallace never let any of this bullshit get to him. Hell, he doesn't even talk about that so-called noose incident from 2 years ago. Want to know why? Because he wants to move forward with his racing career and actually continue to build his racing talents. This has been a career high for Bubba Wallace despite not making the playoffs. He has, how many top 10s again this season? Is it 10 yet? I think we're getting close to there. 8 top 10s. He's 2 away. But this is still a record high for him, nevertheless. This is the most amount of top 10s and top 5s he's had in the history of his racing career. More than anything in the range of 2018 to 2021. And he's even led an upwards of 121 laps. He's never led the quantity of laps in the triple digits in any season ever. That's another career high for him. And with the amount of times he's been finishing consistently in either podium or just a regular top 5 or regular top 10, I say he will be a multi-winner in no time in the many seasons to come. And maybe eventually, maybe I'm slightly overreaching, maybe become a threat in the playoffs. championship, maybe that's overreaching a bit, but don't be surprised if he continues to proliferate his efficiency. And nevertheless, this was a very beautiful L this Hendrick Motorsports fan had to take, because anytime it's Bubba Wallace taking the wins away from his Hendrick boys, he's absolutely fine with it, because I get to enjoy all the delicious boomer tears, all the delicious boomer incels that are crying up an ocean, that are ending the drought for the more deserted states that are suffering a water drought like Nevada, to make the earth a better place. You know, just ending the water drought for the planet, the decline in climate change that these boomer incels continue to disregard the importance of. Well, luckily we won't have to worry about the decline in climate change any further with all those boomers crying up a storm whenever Bubba wins a race. Alright, kicking on towards Bristol. Basically, another one of those shit show races where it gets you on the edge of your seat. Ha ha, eat a dick, Kyle Busch. You fail to advance. You get the fuck out of my face. Take your candy ass into the fucking garage. You're out of here. This definitely emboldens me to have a sense of optimism and hope that my Hendrick boys will hopefully get into the Final Four just fine, at least in regards to Chase Elliott, since he doesn't have the biggest prestigious driver on the track to worry about beating him to the playoffs. Though I do feel sorry for Alex Bowman, but at least he was able to advance to the next round, so that crash of his didn't really matter. But man, was I still on the edge of my seat. I really needed Blaney alive, I needed Bubba Wallace alive, I need Ty Gibbs alive, but it was to no avail since he still ended up getting a DNF the one time I needed him. Austin Dillon wrecked and put my hopes of Kyle Busch getting eliminated from the playoffs at stake. Tyler Reddick tried all he could to get back into the playoffs and above Kyle Busch, but it was to no avail on his end. But luckily, despite Penske having so many gears in the wrenches, so many gears stuck in the works, there was one driver that made it work, and that was Austin Cindric. Despite all the problems, despite Goodyear basically detonating in an untimely manner for a lot of drivers, such as Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, definitely Ryan Blaney, and Eric Jones. Austin Cindric, despite supposedly being the weakest link, somehow made it work enough to beat Kyle Busch to the playoffs. Who would have thought that that Daytona 500 victory of Austin's would have been the catalyst of Kyle Busch's downfall later in the season? I would have thought I would actually say this, since I was a bit disappointed Bubba Wallace couldn't beat him to the line. But I am goddamn well glad that Austin Cindric won that race. But yeah, even though I think all three of those races were very entertaining, man, what is up with Goodyear, my dudes? How frail has the tires gotten? I don't know if it's the tires that are weak, or the Gen 7 just doesn't click well with it, or it just doesn't... It's just not a comfortable shoe for them. I don't know. I don't know why they're facing such a Goodyear crisis where it feels like it's a younger brother of the 2008 Indianapolis... No, not Indianapolis 500. Brickyard 400. Where it basically was just a complete grenade of Goodyear tires everywhere. So much barrage of rubber every fucking where, to the point of absurdity. Blah, blah, blah. You get the point. Oh, and congratulations to Chris Buescher. With Chris Buescher winning, This now officially ties 2001 for 19 different winners. And the fact, we got our 19th different winner by the final race of 2001. And yet we have 7 races to go. That means we could surpass 2001 in different winners. What are the odds of that? Next time someone tells you that they hate a specific season because this person supposedly won so many times, remind them of the fact of how much diverse 2022 has gotten in winners, because this is far from boring. Shit show maybe, but boring? Inconsistent? I don't think so. But can't be mad about a second place finish for my boy Chase Elliott, or third place finish for my boy William Byron, or Kyle Larson. Not gonna lie, I did get a bit of a scare there when Christopher Bell made slight contact with him, because I thought Kyle Larson was gonna slam the wall when he made slight contact with him, because you know how aerodynamically sensitive those Gen 7 cars are, because the durability just seems so off. Like, just a slight contact with the rubber can be very threatening at times, not gonna lie. And this race at Bristol for sure was the catalyst of just that. But luckily, Kyle Larson was able to hang on despite the contact with Christopher Bell, and managed to hustle his way to a 5th place finish. But man, I couldn't tell you, no matter how much I could really think outside the box, I can't really understand why Goodyear has been out of control in its PSIs. I don't know if it's the PSIs that are so low, the durability on Goodyear has been so frail, the suspension is very harsh on those rims. I don't really know. I hope someone in the comment section can clue me in on what's been going on, because that just seems so out of whack. And not to mention that this is the first time in 5 years that Roush Fenway Racing went to victory lane. Hell, it's not even Chris Buescher that stole the show, but Brad Keselowski won on upwards 109 laps? Sheesh. A whole season of doing nothing at all, except for causing wrecks at super speedways, and then he shows up to be a threat to win the race alongside with his teammate Chris Buescher. Damn. Yeah, right. I'm not sure if there's any more I could possibly cover, since I basically did all I can to cover my thoughts and take and recaptions about the past 3 races. And not to mention, I like the fact that there has not been one single playoff driver that won any of those races, so basically no one had to win to automatically advance. That has happened basically 0 times, so what are the odds of that? Will we see the likes of either Ryan Blaney or Martin Truex Jr. win the next couple of 7 races? We're gonna have to really strap on and see what happens at the shit show that is Texas Motor Speedway. Oh boy. I know you're not ready for that kind of mess at the track that SMI has transpired into the biggest black sheep of the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, but oh boy, might as well watch it since I am on the edge of my seat, hoping the absolute best for my Hendrick boys. Hey, congratulations Eric Jones, congratulations Bubba Wallace, and congratulations Chris Buescher. You all deserved your victories. Space Metal Ferrari 248, signing out. Spacing out, everybody. And have a good night, or morning, or noon, or evening, wherever you are in the world.